Hello, and thank you for listening to Willow Talk. Adam Peacock here with Sam Ferris. Sammy, ex-producer Sam in your tuxedo here. Not tuxedo, your Hugo Boss suit, strolling the carpet up there on the level above us that our past doesn't get us into here. That you moved up in the world.
Corporate Sam coming at you. Yeah, it's good to be back. I heard my name whispered last week, so I thought I'd better come in.
Well, you're in the Willow Talk T-shirt and Napa Valley hat, so old habits die hard.
I never take this off.
Yeah, exactly. You're okay with how producer Joel's going, our Kiwi friend?
A few notes, but he knows them.
Yeah. Well, he had a big weekend at Magic Round, the NRL competition for international listeners. That's the Rugby League Carnival up in Brisbane across the weekend, so we allowed him to go up there and enjoy it. So. Last seen strolling down, or maybe rolling down Caxton Street.
Well, the Wars got the big win, so
that's what I mean.
Warriors,
we haven't seen him for 3 days. Coming up today, we're going to cover off all the latest happenings from the IPL and county cricket. We've got an item on the rundown titled Peacock's Performance Review, and underneath it on the rundown is just a gap, and then it goes into Sundries, which we've got coming up later. So this is a surprise for me, is it?
That is the real reason why I'm here today, Adam. And we'll get to that a bit later on.
You're the boss. And but our big guest on this episode a couple of days ago, I caught up with Fergus O'Neill, who tore it up in his first county stint over there in the UK, and is currently on a sabbatical over there through continental Europe. I think he was going to Spain or Portugal or something like that.
Greece,
before he hopped on the plane. Fergus O'Neill. He's rocketed into calculations for higher representation, I dare say, Sam.
Especially over that part of the world. The Ford Falcon, one of my favourite players, really wanted to get him on during my tenure as producer, but Jolie's one-up me there and got him on, and it's a great chat, and I really hope he does well. He seems like a really level-headed guy. I remember speaking to some of his peers during his first summer or his second summer of cricket, and they told me that he would message them and ask them for tips about playing certain opposition at certain grounds. And those guys were saying that you just don't get that from young guys these days. Yeah. So I thought that was like a real sign of maturity and a real star on the rise for Australian cricket.
Absolutely. He's getting the most out of himself. Over 20 wickets in 4 county appearances. Fergus O'Neill coming up later on Willow Talk. But before we get into it, give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok by searching Willow Talk Podcast or hitting the links in the episode notes. It's the best way to get in touch with us, just as John Gareth has, who says, suggestion for Spotify ratings target by the Test Championship final. 1902 was the year Australia played South Africa for the first time in a Test match. We're at 1100.
Yeah.
Now it's a stretch, JG, but hey, I like a challenge.
Yeah, I reckon so. What are we, about 6 weeks away, roughly? So what's that, about 130 a week?
How long's this podcast been going for?
A couple of years.
3 years?
Yeah.
We're at 3 years to 1100, 6 weeks to 1902. It seems fair.
We can do it. Just chuck Murali on top of it. Yeah, why not?
It's the T20 era, so maybe we can accelerate. And Ben also, Sam, sent us a note on Instagram.
He did. He said, love the pod, especially the way you acknowledge in various ways that players at all levels have passion for the game. Quick question, watching the IPL, Jofra Archer doesn't seem as dangerous as a few years ago. Do you think he'll be in the England squad for the Ashes? That's from Ben M. from De La Salle, Kingsgrove Cricket Club.
Yes is the answer to that question if he's fit.
Yeah, I think so too.
These pitches, I'd love to see him fully fit, see what he can do on the bouncy decks out here. Yourself?
Yep, I agree. Ben Horn made a really good point in last week's episode about you don't need to win all 5 Test matches to win the Ashes. You only need to win 3 at most. And I reckon with Jofra Archer, you say just go all guns blazing for 1 test, maybe the first test, and then you can have a couple of games off and then bring him back in later in the summer. I imagine they'll do the same with Mark Wood. Having those 2 guys playing in the same game would be pretty scary stuff. Whether they can achieve it or not and get through the summer or their summer against India, that's their main priority at the moment. But you'd love to see him, if not just for the theatre of it.
Exactly. Let's get it around the grounds then. IPL, Brad Haddin celebrating another win. As we sit here now in the last 24 hours, his Punjab up into second spot. Big win over Lucknow. Josh Inglis was moved up. He batted 30 off 14. Poor old Mitch Marsh, from an Australian perspective, a 5-ball duck. Rishabh Pant out for 18, throwing his bat. What?
He's gone for a big swap outside off stump, let go of the bat, and got caught at deep point.
Hasn't quite worked out. He was the highest price
Yeah.
at the auction, wasn't he?
Is
Hasn't
he ever?
quite. Yeah, it would be because
Yeah.
it keeps on going up. But inflation, Sam,
Yeah.
it's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But hasn't really worked out for the big ticket item there at Lucknow.
It hasn't, and that's just the nature of T20 cricket. It's so hard to be consistent. When you see guys like Virat Kohli just continue to churn out the runs, you're like, wow, they must be a special talent if they can do it in the most volatile format of the game. So, yeah, it hasn't quite worked out for him yet. Mitchy Marsh's impact sub. It's rocks or diamonds with impact subs most of the time, isn't it?
Exactly. But speaking of a Mitch Owen, he's doing the rare PSL IPL double.
Yeah.
Not a usual path to the IPL, but he is at the PSL at the moment. We caught up with him a couple of weeks ago, the Tassie big hitter, who the hero of the Hobart Hurricanes of previous BBL, but he's been signed to replace Glenn Maxwell at Punjab, and Maxi has got a bit of a finger problem. So unfortunate IPL for Maxi.
Yeah, it hasn't quite hit the strides that he once done as an MVP, but Mitch Owen, geez, he can hit a ball. I still think some of those shots over extra cover, just tracer bullets, as Ravi Shastri would say. But that's a great pickup by Punjab. He'll go after the PSL. His team's coming 5th out of 6th at the moment. I think he can get there earliest on the 10th of May, so what, a week from today we're recording. So, yeah.
Which means he just misses out on the Willow Talk Cup.
He does.
All roads lead. Punjab, Delhi, May 8, May 9 here in Australia, early hours of.
So you've marked that on the calendar.
Oh, boy. There's a big red circle. That's the final as far as I'm concerned.
Is Hadds and he was going to come on after that? Has that been lined up?
The aim is to try and get them on later this week in preview to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I dare say, knowing those two, how competitive they are.
The winner will come on.
The winner will come on. And the loser will just disappear from the group chat for 2 weeks.
How are they going? How is Hadds going over there? I haven't heard from him.
Good. He's in heaven. He's loving it. Absolutely loving it. And he's really enjoying the aspect of working with Ricky Ponting. This is as far as I can see. He can speak for himself later in the week, hopefully. But the fact that he's able to nurture, especially some of these young Indian players. They've got a couple of really good openers, Punjab. Just helping develop them. Hopefully he doesn't develop them to the point where they come back and hurt us in a Border Gavaskar. But I think you can just hear the enthusiasm in his voice when it gets to helping these young cricketers, which is pretty cool.
That's great. His son's over there too, right?
Yeah, well, he told us a couple of episodes ago, one of them, the younger one, Hugo, I think it was, he broke his nose going for a classic catch in the pool. His nose his knee hit his nose.
Jeez.
Oh, I need back surgery even thinking about being able to do that.
He's done the frog splash into his nose. Yeah.
Exactly. So
how old's Hugo? Can he get a run in the IPL? Because they're just blood and 14-year-olds over there at the moment.
Well, Rajasthan might want to double up with the opening combo.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think Hugo, in terms of size differential, about half the size.
He's a big kid, that the 14-year-old. Forgive me for not remembering his name on the spot. But, yeah, it's I know I'm a bit late on this, but that innings was just unbelievable.
Yeah, second ball duck next start.
And then he got 4 off too, and the game overnight. Yeah, but anyway, that's what happens.
Speaking of Rajasthan, the KKR beat them by 1 run, and Rajasthan needed 22 off the final over. Shubman Dubey went 6 for 6 to leave 3 off the last ball, but Jofra Archer was run out coming back for the second run. Speaking of Jofra, but he's not there for that, obviously.
No, he's not there for that. There's been some close games in the IPL lately. That was one hell of a match. Rian Parag, I haven't wrote this down for myself. Rian Parag earlier hit 6 sixes in a row, 5 off the second through 6 balls off of Moeen Ali, and then he went and just did a nice little reverse sweep to hit another 6. So extraordinary stuff.
KKR still in the hunt for the playoffs, which is fair effort for them because they just basically changed personnel so much for this version of the IPL. And RCB beat CSK, who are having a shocker, CSK, by 2 runs. And Virat Kohli, he keeps on doing it. Him and Jacob Bethel opened, got 50s. Romario Shepherd scored the equal second fastest IPL with 53 from 14 balls for 4 6 sixes.
He absolutely smoked him. He sent that last 6 off the last ball innings into orbit.
Yeah.
It was, I think, Bogle was on commentary, and he just said, "High, long, gone." They put the ropes back into the second tier of the stadium, and he still clear them.
Exactly.
Yeah, extreme.
Joshy Hazlewood missed that one with the shoulder.
Soldier niggle.
Joshy Hazlewood didn't play that game. He had a shoulder niggle, but should be right for RCB's next game. But having a look at the ladder, 8, 9, 10 look to be cast astern. Rajasthan, Sunrisers and Chennai. They look to have a battle to try and make the playoffs. But up the top, it's RCB have set the pace pretty much, and Punjab have rectified things. They got a no result thrown in there as well, which kind of derailed them a bit. So, conclusion coming. But as mentioned, later in the week on Willow Talk, we hope, if technology allows, if the schedules allow, that Haddon, Healy, face-to-face before the Willow Talk Cup. What's a prize we can organise?
That's a great question. What can we get them? What do they both value and treasure? Had's not a big golf guy, is he? Yeah, maybe actually a trophy.
A trophy.
They probably would like something physical, tactile.
I'm going to go and get a trophy and then award it. And
just looking at the ladder, though, I mean, this could be a preview for an actual playoff game.
Yeah.
That's when you really want to see it knockout.
Yeah.
Real bragging rights.
2 trophies if one team gets the better of the other one twice.
Yeah.
No, great competition, the IPL, and it continues. And hope to have those two on later in the week on Willow Talk County.
Just before we move on, Vaibhav Suryanvanshi is the 14-year-old. Forgive me, Indian listeners and watchers. I don't want to be painted with that brush. I got the name out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you've already had your issues with the Indian audience at a press conference all those years ago. Yep. County cricket, Bo Webster started on his Warwickshire debut, which is good to see him finally over there. I was waiting for Big Bo to get over there, but he's obviously had a little bit of time off. Yorkshire stacked their team. Bowie came in at 5 for 106, 85 from 86, scooped a 6 over Johnny Bairstow, who was standing up to the stumps, by the way. Hit his first ball in the second dig for 6, which was a top edge over third. And Warwickshire won by 5 wickets. So good to see Bo getting going. Marcus Harris, though, Sammy.
Unbelievable form.
It is believable, though, because his game, think of how many runs if he was English he would have scored in county cricket.
Yeah. How many games they play a season? Yeah, he scored 14 or something like that. Yeah, he scored a million. So far, he got 167 batting at 4 for Lancashire in the last game. 138, 52, 43, 50, 77, 34 not out, and now 167. I know you were talking to Benny Horn last week about potential openers. What's the makeup of Australia's Test 11 going to look like for that World Test Championship final? And he said that Bancroft and Harris weren't in the picture. But if he keeps putting up numbers like this, you got to think he's in the squad. And if we're going conditions, horses for courses, a guy that's playing over there against the Dukes, the attack will be a little bit different with the likes of Rabada and Jensen and these guys coming at him. But
if Rabada's there, we'll get to that later.
We'll get there. He'll be there. Yeah,
But here's the thing about Sam Constance, and I'd hopefully do a bit of investigating over the next month before. Look, how is he going to get any cricket if he is chosen in that squad? Is he coming in totally fresh to face that attack on a deck? Let's face it, if it's early June, there's every chance it's a little bit of cloud above.
Yeah.
You're setting himself up. You're setting him up for something there.
Especially at Lords, which is a unique ground with the slope. You'll have Harris, who's played there before. That's a really tough selection, that one. And if they do decide to promote Marnus Labuschagne, who has played at Lords, Cameron Green's played in county cricket, played Ashes games over there now. Yeah, it'd be really exciting. I'd love for that selection to come off, but it just feels like the odds are against him at the moment.
So Cam Green's got cricket's version of going to a wild party and sipping lemonade and going home at 9:30. So 1,000 runs over 18 wickets over 3 days.
Yeah.
And he got 8.
He
missed
got
out.
A good one.
He got a good one. Yeah. That's the excuse.
Yeah.
Got a good one. But got off to a good start. Since then, hasn't quite worked out for the big fella.
At Old Trafford this summer, I read a stat that there's been 3 visiting teams. They've all scored more than 490 in their first innings and haven't batted again. So
Must have been a dry winter,
yeah, I reckon.
oddly enough, in Manchester.
Yeah, we're recording this before day 4 starts, so there
Yeah.
may be a result in that game, but it's not looking like it at the moment with Oliver Price scoring 253 not out, and they're going to bat on, so he could get 300.
Ollie, give someone else a go.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants 300.
Cam Green.
That's fair. And a couple of other Aussies out there, or over there, or soon to be out there, Harry Conway and KP, Curtis Patterson.
Harry Conway peaches himself 5 for 68 and 3 for 43 against Northamptonshire. For Northamptonshire, against Leicestershire. That's Buff's new team, Northants. But Leicestershire got the chocolates in that game. He's got 4 games over there for Northants, Harry. And Curtis Patterson's going to join Surrey for 3 games starting next week. Little 3-county stint for 3-game stint with Ollie Pope and Jamie Smith in those England squads. So he had a great summer, Curtis Patterson. People considering him as a bit of a test bowl to come back in. Played those 2 tests against Sri Lanka 2019, I think it was now, so just before the pandemic. And he looked great. So let's hope he gets some runs on the board over there and pushes his case further.
And you know the county scene pretty well. If you had the option to go, either to go and work at one of the counties or actually play there, which one would you lob for?
Surrey would be right up there. It is the wealthiest county, so they've got all the
little
bells and
corridor
whistles.
west of London, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice. Vauxhall over there, very nice. The Oval's a great ground to play. The other ones I would suggest, Trent Bridge, Nottinghamshire, be really cool. Middlesex playing at Lords would be fun too. Warwickshire, where Bo Webster is, Birmingham. I'm just thinking the grounds now. And, Lancashire too, big proud history. Playing at Old Trafford, that's cool. And then maybe Yorkshire as well. Leeds, but cold up there.
I'd lob for Durham.
Durham? That's right. Newcastle.
Families from the area, so make the uncle proud who's still in the area and gets to Chesterley Street when he can. So,
oh, nice. Gloucester's good too. Bristol's a great ground. The county ground there is good.
There's not many bad ones by the sounds of it.
Nah, we've mentioned a few of them today. Yeah, they're all very unique. Even Worcestershire, Graham Hick territory there with the cake stand, the really lovely there. They're all. Somerset's good too. Good history down there.
So it's a good scene, and it's been a very good scene recently for Fergus O'Neill. I got to chat with the big Victorian. Well, he's not so big, is he? But he's a big character, is Fergus. Caught up with him in Dublin after his county stint with Nottinghamshire. So by virtue of the fact that he's in Dublin, he's not there to go to the libraries. His voice was a little croaky after a big day at the races the day before, but it's a really cool chat about playing in the UK, travels, his background, and so much more. Here he is, Fergus O'Neill. Fergus, thanks for your time on the other side of the world, mate. Really appreciate it on Willow Talk. So not that long ago, you finished your stint with Nottinghamshire, but you're making the most of life in the Northern Hemisphere?
Yeah, done the cricket now, so the responsibilities are finished and it's on to a bit of fun. Starting with Dublin, I'm here at the moment at the races yesterday, so had a good time there, and Spain tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, thankfully... recently they had a blackout. They've turned the lights back on for you. But after the races not that long ago, was it lights nearly out for you? You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I did enjoy myself. I've got Joe Clark here with me, who's pretty good on the booze as well, as all the English players tend to be. So we had a good time. Joe and his father took me to Punchestown racing, and it didn't disappoint.
Punchestown by name, Punchestown by nature. That's all I've heard. Mate, so this is the official start of your off-season. We've seen some state cricketers. We caught up with Jake Lehman a few weeks ago on Willow Talk, and he's enjoying his time using the holiday house of the old man up in Queensland and getting up to Byron with a couple of the victorious South Australia guys. This is now off-season for you, officially?
Yeah, spot on. I think I've probably got a month now where been advised to do nothing, and that is music to my ears, so I'm happy there. But then, it goes from off-season to pre-season pretty quickly.
Mate, we may as well get the travel diary out right now. So what does nothing entail? I presume you're going to stay up there for a while?
Yeah, I'm going to stay here I got 20 days abroad, so I'm going to be in Spain, Portugal and Greece. I've got Will Sutherland and Campbell Callaway joining me on my adventures. Play a bit of golf and cruise around, have a bit of fun. And then I get back to England, and Peter Moores, our coach, said it might be a good idea to hang around the Blast and just have a look around and then see what it's like. Obviously we only have a 10-game season in Big Bash. I've been around for a couple of years now, but the more kind of white ball cricket I'd probably expose myself to, that's obviously the future of the game. the better for me. I've got Moses Enrique's coming over as the international for Notts, so I'll spend a bit of time with him, and yeah, the boys have been great, so I'll watch intently how they go on the blast.
So this 4-game county stint, was that always a 4-game county stint governed by visa regulations or strength and conditioning regulations back here in Australia, them wanting you to have a rest down at Victoria and Cricket Australia? What was the go there?
No, it was the visa regulations. I think that potentially had I signed for longer than the 4 weeks, I could have had some backlash from the phys prep staff at CV. But I think the visa was the thing that haunted me there. It is a tough schedule, I must confess. So, in hindsight, it's easy to say you would have played for longer, but 4 games was pretty strenuous after 11 games at home.
Mate, what was par going in? Because you've ended on 21 wickets at an average of 18. So those 2 figures there, 21 and 18, what were you looking for or hoping for?
Well, I spoke to Jamie Porter, who Essex player that I have spent a bit of time with when he comes to Melbourne, and he said my line was 17.5. Okay. So I was over the line. But the thing was that we got some really good weather here, which meant I wasn't affected by rain much, except for one of our games, which was a bit of a shame. But I got to play lots of cricket, got to bowl lots of overs. So if I was going to do that, I always thought that I'd go all right.
Yeah. So what was because you've had great success with Victoria in the last couple of years, so you've obviously carried that forward. But going into an environment like that, you're running in from, I presume, a couple of times from the Stuart Broad end or the stand or whatever it is, named after the great man, not so great in Queensland, as Graham Swan was telling us recently with his the opinion that was conveyed in the Courier Mail all those years ago. But in all seriousness, what was it like being in that environment, and why did it bring the best out in you?
Well, I think there's a little bit of extra pressure on you to perform when you're the international signing and you're flying halfway across the world, and they'd look after you very well here. Obviously, in Shield cricket, we don't do the international players, but I'm sure we would host just as good or better. But the boys have been unbelievable. So everyone's trying to cater to you. You need this, you need that. Trying to, make your arrival as smooth sailing as possible. And in return, hopefully you get to repay the favour with some wickets and some runs. So I felt like there's a little bit of pressure on me to perform, and that I owed it to all the people who have been doing things for me. And yeah, I'm glad that I could do that. But I think playing in Victoria, playing Shield cricket, where it's obviously a very strong level, holds all of us back home in good stead to come over here and do well. What's
the differences between the two?
Well, the schedule is the massive one. Like they call it the county grind. It'll wear you down. You can't bowl 145 kilometres every 4 days like they play. So I think it's no surprises that the players are what they are over here. Everyone can bowl a bit, can bat a bit, all good fielders, and then, there's not as much of I'm trying to think of a good example for us at home, like Brendan Doggett bowls rapid one game and you play him again 2 weeks later and he's bowling rapid again, you know what I mean? I'm sure he would be able to say, but being here, it's like you play and then you're just starting to feel that you've, come over a bit of soreness from the last game and you're back in again, you win the toss and bowl, and it's, you know what I mean? So that's probably the biggest difference. And then I just think the conditions here, they spoke about look up, not down. Felt like if the sun was out, you couldn't get a wicket, full stop. But if the clouds were over, it was going everywhere. So those were the two biggest learnings for me. And probably the bounce as well, isn't it? In Oz, you feel like bounce is always in the game. Here it was more lower at the stump. So if you saw my first dismissal, I went back to a ball that hit me halfway up the shin. So I adjusted to that pretty quick.
It's like playing backyard cricket on a dodgy wicket at a mate's house.
Yeah, genuine.
But you had some success with the bat as well.
Yeah, well, I think after my first my golden duck on debut, I thought, well, I don't have much to lose now, so I can chance my arm a little bit. But yeah, as I said, I batted a couple of times when it was nice and sunny, so the wicket felt beautiful and flat. But yeah, it's I think that's the thing. Everyone here can kind of bat and bowl. Our number 11 was pretty good, so that's what I kind of figured out. You can't just be a out and out bowler or an out-and-out batter, you got to contribute in more ways than one. So I probably put a bit more time into my batting after my first innings, and then I was happy to go all right.
Obviously, in the prep for an interview like this, you go back on what's been written about you before, and reading about how your physical stature didn't allow you to be able to, just everyone take your time. You're 6'5", you might get a stress fracture or whatever like that. You had to front up all the time. Do you feel like, given looking at your numbers again, the 17 average over there across the 4 matches, 20 averaging 20 across your Shield campaign as well, career, that you have to rock up still to this day, and you take that attitude into every game you play?
Yeah, well, that's the blessing in disguise, isn't it? I think, I've said it before, and it's been told to me before, there's no potential here, you can find 6 foot and 85 kilos anywhere in the world, you know what I mean? But some of the boys have the luxury of they're one of one, and you can call it a luxury, or maybe it's not a luxury because maybe they rest on their laurels a little bit. But I know that wherever I go, I have to perform, and performance is my indicator. I'm not getting a soft seat in that regard. So I think I've probably tried to use that wherever I go. And when I came here to England, I wasn't coming here going, this would be a nice experience. I've never bowled with a juke ball or anything, but I was going there going, I need to perform. And this is, if I'm going to be coming back here, it's going to be because I perform well, not because I show that I can bowl 150 or I show that I can get crazy bounce because I'm 6'8".
Yeah, but 6 foot, 85 kilos. I'm 6 foot. I'd take the 85 kilos right now, but I'm
probably 88 by the time I get back, and then I'll be pre-season. I'll be back in and sharp.
I was going to say that you got to be careful. There's not a Mykonos tax that you bring back.
Yeah, well, that is the worry. I think I'm lucky. I got Big Chief Sutherland, who's got the blast post our travel, so we're going to be running and doing that. I don't think he can go a full month without staying in good nick before the blast. So I'll be tagging along with him.
We give our English friends a lot of crap, obviously, around our Ashes time, but to be in that environment, are they good people to be around and learn off and hang out with?
Yeah, they've been great. We got a bit of international talent in our room. Ben Duckett played the last game, and Josh Tongue, who I think is going to play a lot for England, he was very impressive. They're all good, but I think just like us, they're competitive around their nation, you know what I mean? Everything, I would always reference Australia, and they'd be like, shut up, mate, we do it better here, blah, blah, blah. But I think we're both proud sides and proud countries, and that's why when the whips are cracking, I think the Ashes is probably what everyone wants to play.
You only played the one game with Ben Duckett. Obviously, he's going to play a big part in the upcoming Ashes, but in that game, in a small run chase, he just decided to get it done in about 5.5 minutes and went Burko. What was that like, watching him in full flow? And I don't know if you got to share much net time with him. I'd imagine with the schedule, you don't have a lot of time in the nets.
No, not much time in the nets, but no, Ducky he's amazing, really. There was a boundary that was probably, I'm going to say, 55 metres, and he was looking at that going, I don't think that can tame me, and it couldn't. The off spinner unfortunately got drawn the short straw, bowling to that side to Ducky, and he said, thanks for coming. So, he's a proper player, and I think he's a dangerous player because, it'd be like we were speaking about Ollie Davies for us back home off camera. If he faces 50 balls, he's on 50 minimum, I'd say. So Ducky's a serious player, and I think he's come over and done well in the Big Bash in our conditions. I know it's a red ball and it's not quite going to be the same, but I don't feel like the conditions will probably phase him as much as maybe some of the others. So, he's probably, if I'm the Aussies, I want Ducky to have a average Ashes if we're going to go well.
Hopefully. The difference in bounce out here, never know, but he's got some talent, that guy. What about you mentioned before about the differences in skill sets that you need in county cricket to Sheffield Shield, but you got a little bit of a look across 4 games about the talent pool and how deep it is. Now, obviously, they've got a few guys out, a few guys been rested, a few guys out with IPL, a few guys been rested with the big summer ahead over there. But what do you notice about that depth and that pathway in English cricket?
Yeah, well, they've got like academies from under 14s, I think it is. So I feel like a lot of the players are being, groomed into being professional players from a young age. So they're well equipped when they get there. They kind of know what's going on and how everything works. But we got 6 states in Oz, and I think there's 18 counties here. If you condense the 6 states into the 6 counties, if you condense the 18 counties into 6 counties like we have back home, it would be an unbelievably amazing comp. But there's still some very good depth, and I think the English players probably get looked after quite a bit. They don't have to play lots, but if you got those guys back playing as well, it'd be a serious comp.
Any of them have rat's tails, especially the young ones?
No rat's tails. There's a few funny haircuts rolling around, but no one. I'm trying to think in our team. We got a few boys that bit out there. We got the 17-year-old called Farhan Ahmed, who is a superstar. He's got a bit of swagger, I'd say. I'd probably, if I wasn't quite as confident as he was at 17, but yeah, he's the one that I'd probably say I would have got on with. My 17-year-old self would have got on with Farhan.
I'll get back to the rat's tail in a moment, because there's a reason why I pointed that out. For those that don't know, if you maybe Google image Fergus O'Neill, you might come up with an answer, but we'll get back to that in a moment. But just on Farhan, I've heard about him, obviously. Haven't seen much of him. He's 17, for goodness sakes. But in the last few weeks, we've seen a 14-year-old start to, put the foot down in IPL cricket, which is just indescribably amazing. But this kid, they're looking after him, and they got high hopes for him.
Yeah, this kid's a proper player. He's, I've been lucky to play with some good spinners at Victoria, and John Holland and Todd Murphy, both Test players. Even had a bit of time with Gaz at the Renegades, and this Farhan, the control and the skill he's got for 17 is just amazing. He's got this little bit of swagger and confidence. He doesn't really mind. He's not fazed by anything, and he bowled to the short boundary this whole game and in the second innings against a lot of lefties, and got 4 for not many when Ducky was taking the other spinner 15 and over. So this kid's a proper player, and I think it's probably a matter of time before he gets a go at the top level. And that's the thing, he's so small and so little. When he gets a bit stronger and has a bit more on his ball, I hope he stays at Notts, and I can stay at Notts. I don't want to be facing that.
Fair enough. Now back to the Rat Star, mate. So interesting way to rock up to you. Was it your first game for Victoria? You've done that one? Yeah,
it was my first game. I probably wasn't expecting to play, to be fair.
Yep.
And we played the Harlem Globetrotter WA side. I think they had Sean Marsh, Philippi. I'm trying to think. It was everyone. They had everyone. Jai Richardson, Berendorf, Ty, Agar. I'm not sure what they were all thinking of me as I lined up for the national anthem before we played. But I've done a few funny things with my hair. I probably, after playing a bit more, had to get rid of that one. But who knows? It might make a return. We'll wait and see.
Mate, it worked out for Kostiazoo. You probably weren't alive to see him fight, but he had it going back in the day. So did you copy any advice about it from the WA guys?
To be fair, I wasn't out there for long enough with the bat to cop anything. But no, I don't know. Maybe it's giving off a facade that I'm this tough guy. No one really said anything to me, so that was good. They might have thought I was like Kostiazoo.
Fair enough. Are you one to give advice freely at the end of your follow through, if you know what I mean?
I did a couple of times over here in this stint because no one really knows me over here, and I'm not really going to be here to make lots of friends. I've got my friends at Notts and a few other boys that I know, but I was giving a bit of advice this game. I lost my head a little bit, but in Oz it's a bit hard now. You play with the Big Bash and everyone's here, there and everywhere, a few A games and stuff. You get on with everyone pretty well. You want to have a bit of the hatred. We don't like New South Wales, we don't like South Australia, whatever it is, but sometimes you find it hard when you play with these guys and you play Big Bash and stuff with them. I think that's probably, speaking to the older guys at Victoria, that might be what's lost a little bit now. Everyone knows everyone, and it's a bit lovey-dovey at times. I think you still need that competitive edge, and I think the balance will be found of that shortly. But it is so hard when you're playing against Bo Webster for Tassie, and I've been drinking with him every second day in the Big Bash because he's with the Stars and I'm with the Renegades. You know what I mean? It's hard in that regard.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's a little easier to hand out advice in England where the decks aren't as bouncy, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. I can't get it back. Yeah, I pick my sides as well. If Jofra was playing for Sussex, I don't think I would have said anything, but he wasn't playing, so that was good. Yeah, and that is very true.
Who'd you idolise as a pace bowler growing up?
Yeah, I've had this question a bit. Not really sure, to be honest. Like, I think I kind of fell into cricket. I always liked it, and I was always decent at it, but I'm not sure I was ever like a big watcher and lover of the game. I do remember loving Dwayne Bravo in the Big Bash back for the Renegades or the Stars it was then. I can't remember one of them, but I'm going to say Dwayne Bravo maybe. I was a big fan of him, but I think Adam Dale and Cameron White were probably the two when I was 17 and 18 that got me into cricket and being a bit more a student of the game. And I watched a few Adam Dale highlights. He told me he used to get close to the stumps and this, that, the other. So I watched a bit of that.
Wicketkeeper got close to the stumps when he's bowling as well a few times. Did you bring that up?
Which one was that?
As in, the wicketkeeper used to come up to him to the stumps and keep the stumps to him.
Yeah, correct. I did have to get in about that. I think I might have him covered for pace now, just.
Yeah, fair enough. Because you were into AFL footy for our international audience. AFL footy is the Indigenous footy code that you come down here and watch. And if you haven't seen it, haven't had the rules explained to you, you walk away from it going, what were the rules to that? But that's by the by. It's unique to Australia. But you were into that fully?
Yeah, I love my footy. I think that was probably a good thing, just to stay fit and in the off season to just forget about it. You know what I mean? Cricket can be a tedious game, and yeah, it can sometimes be hard to stomach when you're not bowling well or you're getting ducks and whatnot. But then footy, you get 2 hours to go out, run around and try and impact as much as you could, and I love that. But I was probably a bit small and a bit slow to play footy, but I loved it. We obviously play lots at Victoria and have Will Parker now that's gone from cricket to Collingwood and is going well. So we all love our footy, and yeah, I think it's the running joke that we could all have played AFL, and I'm going to say that I could to the lads, but I was never quite good enough. Hence, I'm here.
Who's your team?
North Melbourne, unfortunately, but we're coming back. We're coming back.
You've been coming back for the last 10 years.
Yeah, there's a few of us at Victoria. Me, Sid's, Crony, Merle. It's been dark for a while, but yeah, we're on the way back. John Holland as well, actually. So it's tough going.
Okay, I'll put this in context for maybe our Indian audience. North Melbourne, Rajasthan Royals. They've got a lot of young players, including a couple of young talented ones, but they haven't had any success in what feels like about 8 decades. And for our maybe English listeners who are across their football, I'd put them in the maybe second division, I'd say, if we're being honest. But hey, onwards and upwards, hey, Ferg?
Onwards and upwards. Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah, exactly. The name Fergus O'Neill lends me to believe that you might have some Irish background to you in the family somewhere, in the family tree.
My middle name's Patrick as well. So when I went through customs yesterday, the lad had a look at my thing and didn't even ask any questions. Just went, boom, welcome home. So no, it was good. I've got Irish heritage clearly, but I don't really know too much about it. I might walk into a long lost cousin at the moment. There's a few O'Neill pubs around here, and actually, in fact, we went to put a couple bets on Joe Clark's horse yesterday, and there was O'Neill bookmakers. So I went there and I thought this is destined, but no, Clarkie's horse ran about 8s, jumped 8s and ran 8s, so that's not optimal.
No, it is not optimal. Born in New Zealand though? Yeah,
born in New Zealand. I moved from NZ when I was 15 months or 2 years old, something like that. So for me, Melbourne is home and Australia is home. But when you've got a big family back in NZ and you're going back for weddings and whatnot, there's always this little weird feeling that is home. But if you ask me, I'm I'm a Victorian, I'd say. I'm not Australian, I'm Victorian.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Because our producer, Joel, he's a Kiwi, so anytime there's any kind of link, he gets me to ask, because I think he's maybe part of the recruitment team for the Black Caps. But Australia's your go, is it? I mean, there's Ireland, who play cricket, obviously, internationally. There's New Zealand, who you're eligible for, but Australia's your go.
I think Australia's my go. I'd like to stay here. Australia's home.
Yeah, good. Where do you, like, people will look at your record over the last month, they'll look at your Sheffield Shield record and go, oh, this guy's on the upward tangent and it could end up in a baggy green. But where do you feel that you're in the pecking order?
That's a good question. I think, we got Scotty Boland at the Vicks with us, who has had so much success for Australia into his 30s. So I think for a lot of the young boys at the Vicks, we look at him as a bit of a model that, it's going to look different for everyone. And the pecking order, it's Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, Boland, and it's probably light years to the next. They've been so good for so long. And, it's going to be very hard to fill those shoes for whoever gets the opportunity. But I think what Scotty and Sids as well, to be fair, have been very good at telling me is, every time you play, you're just playing for that team and you're trying to play well. And if higher honours are a byproduct of that, well, then you'll go there and try and play well. I think I've done that for Victoria, got an opportunity for Aussie A, and I've done that for Aussie A. I'm just going to play and try and perform. And if that, turns into a baggy green or playing for Ireland or New Zealand or whatever it looks like, I'm just going to try and perform. I feel like a lot of people probably put pressure on themselves to get a baggy green or to do this and to do that. I'm not too bothered about that. I'm just playing every game and trying to go well, and what will happen from that will happen.
Yeah, you're more concerned about immediate situations such as what's the beer in Spain like, and same goes for us. So live in the now.
Well, yeah, at the moment I am anyway.
Yeah.
For the next month.
Hey, you got to have your downtime. Because standing in the outfield on a 35-degree day can have its benefits and it can have its downsides as well. So you got to enjoy the time when you get it off, huh?
Oh, that's spot on.
Yeah, mate. Really appreciate the chat. Enjoy the travels. Look forward to seeing your progress over the next few years. And you've now become a friend of the show on Willow Talk. Cheers, mate.
Too easy. Thanks for having me. I'll be back.
Welcome back to Willow Talk, and now it's over to, I'll still call you Producer Sam, that's just force a habit. Peacock's performance review is on the rundown here. Now, the glasses are out. Now, I swear to all our listeners out there, I've got a blank piece of paper in front of me in this part of the rundown. I do not know what's coming.
Performance reviews are important because they provide structured feedback, recognise achievements, and identify areas for improvement.
Oh, Jesus. Listen to you, Mr. Corporate.
Employee goals with organisational objectives, support career development, and improve communication between managers and staff. Regular reviews foster accountability, motivation, and productivity, contributing to a stronger, more effective workplace culture.
All I want to know is, do I get an invite to the Christmas party, Mr. HR?
Well, you'll find out in 12 questions' time.
Okay.
Adam,
yes.
You will now participate in a questionnaire about Willow Talk and the recent summer of cricket.
I don't have a choice, do I?
But it's not just for you, Adam. It
Okay.
is for our listeners as well. We want to hear your score. So DM us your results, leave us a review or comment on Apple or Spotify with what you get. So that sounds a little bit heavy, and I have put the glasses on for dramatic effect.
I didn't even know you wore glasses. Are they just the fake ones that just have no
I actually don't
no
need
magnifying in it? Yeah.
Adam Zampa style. No, I do need glasses, but not for short-term reading. Anyway, so we have got 12 questions.
Okay.
This is just a fluffy way to do
It's a quiz, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a quiz.
It's a quiz. It's not a review.
I don't like doing quizzes on podcasts.
So I don't get to say, Hadds, I just wish you wouldn't park in my spot all the time, or Heels, I wish you'd invite me to golf sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can ask Heels. Hadds hasn't got a car spot. No one does.
No, true.
So
it's true.
Don't have to worry about that
Public
one.
transport for all of us.
But we've got 12 questions here, 6 on Willow Talk and 6 on the recent summer of cricket.
Oh, jeez.
I'm confident of a high score here.
Okay.
And you do want to hope you get one as well. All right, question 1. Who is known as the godfather of Willow Talk?
Gus Warland?
In that area, but no, he's been a guest on the show, The Godfather.
Godfather?
Very famous episode of Willow Talk.
Merv Hughes?
The answer is Matthew Hayden. 0 from
Haydos.
1.
Sorry, Haydos.
Haydos, The Godfather. I'm pretty sure that's how you introduced
I
him
was just
on the
trying
episode.
to... Who was on the initial...
That's right.
I can just remember.
Gus was on there.
Gus was there.
Haydos and Graham Swan.
And Swanee.
Yeah.
Early. What was this back to the...
This is way back,
Yeah, way back.
2016. Yeah, we're going way back.
2016. That's before podcasts were invented.
Yeah, probably.
First
It was a
one.
radio show. All right, question 2. Name 3 cricket clubs who have sent in a cap to the show. You should get at least one.
Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Peninsula.
Yep.
Terry Hills.
Terry Hills.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick.
We had
Well
a
done.
Rangers cricket club.
Yep.
We've got a few. There was one from the Whit Sundays as well, which was unreal.
We've got North Eltham, Woolgoolga,
Yep,
Palmwoods, Woolgoolga, Whoopi, Balimba,
Yeah,
Napa Valley, Proserpine Junior Pitbulls.
that's
How
the
can
one
you
from
forget
up there.
them?
Yep.
Cairns Rovers, Terry Hills. We had a couple last week, so yeah, plenty. Keep them coming in.
So I remember the
wanna
one where you've got the cap on and the two ones that are just around the corner from my joint.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
that all counts. We love them. In all seriousness, it's been one of the real highlights of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Getting those club caps in, we want to build that community up, and I think from
We need shelves in
we'll-
here. for
we're
the
going to get a
caps.
couple of hat racks, coat
Mhm.
stands, and put them on there. But I think from next summer on, once we get past the World Test Championship final, you send a cricket club cap in, we'll send you a Willow Talk one.
Done.
I'm making that promise on behalf of
Or
producer
Bucket Hat.
Joel or Bucket Hat, yeah.
Mm.
All right, you should get this one. Question 3. In one edition of Ask Hadds, Bradley refers to a New South Wales teammate as the Webber. Who is the Webber?
Don Nash.
Don Nash.
Donny Nash. Possibly one of the funniest stories when he told me that he used to go and buy a barbecue chicken from Woolworths and just eat the skin.
The
Donny.
Webber. You lost it.
I lost it.
You're in tears.
I lost that, and then but the Weber, to be fair to him, could front up, could bowl,
Oh, yeah.
and
Great record.
can breed athletes as well because his daughters play for the Matildas. So
There you go.
yeah, Jess.
Question 4. Which international cricket captain is Hills least likely to send a Christmas card to?
Oh, wouldn't be Harmanpreet by any chance, would it?
Correct. That's a hat trick. You've come back, yeah. Harmanpreet Kaur.
Mm.
Do you reckon they could line up an interview while she's over there?
I think there's more chance of me getting
Hugo Haddon playing in the IPL?
Hugo Haddon opening for Rajasthan next game,
Mm.
or Donald Trump saying an Indian cricketer's name correctly.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar. Question 5. What is the name of the fictional wicket-keeping themed spin-off show hosted by Hadds and Heels?
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
I only know that because that's the actual name of our group chat.
Yeah. Correct. All right. Last one on the Willow Talk theme questions. Mike Hussey, friend of the show,
Mm.
was a guest in December and told the story of the only time he lost it on the field. Who did he lose it to?
Dale Steyn?
F.U. Dale Steyn.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's, again, one of my favourite stories.
One of the great episodes, yeah. Mike Hussey promoting the Big Bash. We'll have to get him back on this summer to do the same thing. That was a great episode.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. How many hundreds did Steve Smith score last summer?
Not including Sri Lanka?
No, including Sri Lanka.
Including so that was still summer?
Yep.
Even though it was not summer where he was playing?
2004, 2005 summer.
Okay.
2024, 2025. Yeah.
4.
Correct.
Yep.
Well done. Brisbane, Melbourne, Gaul, and Gaul.
Goal and goal.
Nice work.
Double goal.
Double Gaul. Question 8. Name the 2 players involved in the fiery send-off at the Adelaide Oval Test.
Travis Head and
He's blanking here.
Mohammad Siraj.
Correct. Well done.
Yep.
Is that a highlight of the summer?
One off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis's
Got it.
innings, I think,
140.
would have been more of a highlight had that not happened because that became.
The talking point.
But let's not forget that that bloke basically pretty much guarantees himself a statue off the back of his body of work,
Yeah.
primarily that type of knock.
Yeah. My word. It was a great summer for Travis Head. And Mohammad Siraj, I don't think did much wrong there.
Mm.
All this time, I think Head sort of said, I think they're both to blame, but
Well,
it was great theatre.
he was being carted everywhere. So it was more a relief mechanism that he was using to send him on his way.
Yeah, you're doing well here, Adam. Name the 6 Test debutants from the summer, 5 men and 1 woman. You got to go back all the way to Perth.
Far out. I'm going to get the woman's wrong, but I'll go. No, she one day or only. Georgia Vol.
Correct.
Okay, men's. McSweeney.
Yep.
Constas.
Yep.
Duh. You get that one wrong. McSweeney, Constas.
They went 4 and 4.
Webster.
Yep. Good.
2 more, huh?
Yep.
2 more.
Both in Sri Lanka.
Both in Sri Lanka. Josh Inglis.
Yeah, I reckon Hadds tipped them both.
And Cooper Connolly.
Cooper Connolly.
Yeah. So I'm not
Well
thinking
done.
Sri Lanka. I'm just thinking, yeah.
Yep, well done. Who was the player of the match in the day-night women's test at the MCG between Australia and England? Now, don't get this mixed up with player of the series,
No.
because that player also had a very good test match.
Was it Ash Gardner?
No, it wasn't Ash Gardner. I'll give you another chance.
Thankfully, you can cut all this out. It's dead air. Oh. Annabelle?
Correct, Annabelle Sutherland.
Annabelle Sutherland.
163, Victorian home turf.
That's right. Name on the board.
Have to
Should have realised.
Alana King, player of the series, took a boatload of wickets in that game as well. One of our favourites here on Willow Talk, Alana King and Annabelle Sutherland. Who won the WBBL and BBL last summer?
WBBL.
You know the BBL.
Do I?
Yeah, you've already mentioned it today.
Did I?
Yep. If you're listening right now
Oh,
and screaming the answer.
Hobart
there,
Hurricanes.
Yes.
Of course, the final.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling. I'm struggling to remember.
We're out of cricket season.
Yeah, well, no, it's the Red Ball stuff takes up all the headspace.
This was another first
If you asked me
winner.
who won the IPL match 3 days ago, I'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Another first-time winner. Is it Renegades?
Correct.
Yeah.
You're pulling them out here. Good pull. Last one. Who won the Allen
I've been
Border
accused of that a few times.
and Belinda Clark medals at the Oz Cricket Awards?
Belinda Clark, Annabelle Sutherland,
Yep.
and Travis Head.
Well
AB.
done.
What was that? The only one I got wrong is the one that's going to cause me issues.
When we share it with Haddos.
Haydos is going to kill me.
Yeah, the Godfather. Other than that, I reckon that's a very good score.
So when we dress this studio a bit more, we've got to have a photo
Yeah.
of, like just a mythical photo of Haydos or something like that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
in the
Just
big hat.
Remind me. I'll
Yeah,
never
yeah.
forget. Never
Well
forget.
done. Performance review passed.
Oh, thanks. Still got my job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would have happened if I got 5 out of 12?
Conversations would have been had. I would have needed to get George Bailey in here.
Yeah.
Teach me how to let people down gently.
I look forward to doing that with Hadds when he gets back.
Same questions?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Let's get into Sundries, shall we? Thank God that's over. It's a relief.
Just sweating bullets there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the glasses
I
off.
referenced HR and Christmas party before.
Yeah.
It's when you do something a little stupid at a Christmas party, but you're wondering the next day how stupid it is.
Yeah.
But you get to the end of the week and HR hasn't said anything.
Mm.
You know you're in the clear.
You're okay.
There's no relief like that relief.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you've pulled out some wild analogies today. That one's probably the most appropriate.
Women's 2026 T20 World Cup final to play at Lords. They will host the final on July 5 next year. 12-team comp. Other venues, Old Trafford, Headingley, Edgbaston, Hampshire, the Oval and Bristol. Question is, will it be our co-host swan song? Can't wait to ask her that.
What do you reckon? So I feel like it's not far away, right? But she's got another World Cup coming up later this year. I bet you she wants to play India in a test match. Was it July 5?
She'd love this chat. She'd absolutely love this chat.
You could do it when she's not here. I reckon she's got a date in mind.
She does.
Full disclosure, hasn't told us.
No, absolutely
we
not.
have no idea. So this is
Yeah.
a complete guess. But yeah, I reckon. Well, she signed on for the Sixers for a couple more years. So her domestic playing days won't be over.
When she signed on,
soon.
how long's the contract with us?
Well, she's got to do a performance review, but at the moment, ongoing.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. The England Test squad, any shocks in this mob that they've come up with for the Test, which is just around the corner at Trent Bridge against, drumroll please, Zimbabwe.
They're going to play South Africa soon too, as a bit of a warm-up for their game and World Test Championship final. Look, the only one that people are talking about is Zach Crawley. Given his lean record of late and his overall record averages 30. He's the best-looking Test opener to average 30. I'm not sure who coined that, but it was a former player. But, yeah, they're just persisting with him. I think they can see the upside of him because when he comes off, he's unbelievable. But you just don't think the numbers are backing a long-term opener like that. So that's the only one. Who replaces him, I wouldn't hazard a guess, but they're sticking with him for the time being.
Well, the good news is for Zach, he's got an ezy summer coming up because Boomer's going to play him in 5 tests over there. So all the best.
Yeah, good luck, Zach.
Friend of the show, and he's still a friend of the show.
He is.
So Rabada, he's admitted to testing positive for a recreational drug, unnamed. I think there's a few rumours out there, but we'll leave that there. ESPN Cricket Info reports it took place during their SA20 comp, their T20 version of the BBL. Back in January, February, he left the IPL on April 3 to deal with a significant personal matter, but is back in India and looks set to play again soon. Yes. So I don't know what, it's shrouded in a bit of mystery about what the exact punishment has been, but it looks like he will still be there in June for the World Test Championship final.
Yeah, more detail to come this week when the South African anti-doping agency release some more details. But yeah, at the moment, we don't know. But Doug Bracewell got done for something last November and he got a 1-month ban. So apparently it's going to be along the similar lines. He's been home from India for a month. He's back over there now, set to play the next game. So yeah, I think it's done, but we'll find out more.
Now you've picked this one up. This is very you. Virat Kohli and an Instagram. I don't know. Furor's too strong.
Furor's too strong. Yeah.
But it's a yarn.
It's a yarn because he addressed it on social media. So last week, eagle-eyed Indian fans noticed that Virat Kohli's official Instagram account liked a post of an Indian actress by the name of Avneet Kaur on a fan account. Now, Virat Kohli, the context behind this is Virat Kohli is married to a very famous Indian actress, Anushka Sharma. So, internet, they see that, they go, righto, what's going on here? Is this a bit sus, memes galore? But Virat's come out, clarified it. He put a text post on his Instagram story saying, while clearing my feed, it seems the algorithm might have incorrectly registered an interaction. There was absolutely no intention behind it. I request that no unnecessary assumptions be made. So, look, I'm going to back Virat in this. And even if he did accidentally like it, big deal. So, whatever.
It doesn't surprise me it's a story, but it blows my mind it's a story at the same time.
Yeah. What it is, it's a cautionary tale that if you are, and we're not saying Virat did this, but if you are looking at an account that perhaps you don't want other people to know about, just be very careful where the thumb goes. You don't want to like something like from 2 years ago on someone's page you're looking at. So just be aware of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of phones, there's been an issue at the Lancashire-Gloucestershire match at Old Trafford. Tom Bailey, batting for Lancashire, was completing a run when his iPhone fell out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Now, that is a massive no-no.
You can't do that.
Yes. The integrity, I can only assume it's the same at county cricket as it is the Shield and Marsh Cup here in Australia. It is like, hand your phones in, you'll see them at the end of the day, guys.
Yeah.
Away they go.
I don't know how it works in county cricket. There is a law on the playing conditions which says, with the exception of player movement technology, the use of electronic communication devices and equipment of any kind which enables communication between on-field players and anyone not on the field of play shall not be permitted during the scheduled or rescheduled hours of play. So I think the key word is there is the use. Was he actually using it? So, I doubt it. I don't think he put it in there to get his steps up to track them, but it seems like just a bit of a brain fade from old Bales here, and he's walked out there. He was just watching the team put 500 on the board. He was probably playing Wordle or something. He forgot about it, put it in his pocket, walked out there, and oops. Something you walk out there and you forget your boxes. You don't have your box in. You're like, Should have remembered that.
As mentioned, it's red hot, that rule here in Australia, so maybe it's a bit different over there. But I can only assume back in the day, if there were phones and that rule wasn't in place, Mark Waugh would have had his phone in his pocket, drinks break, third at Warwick Farms, just about to jump, away we go.
We know Junior's history with that kind of stuff, so yeah, let's hope that wouldn't happen. But yeah, it's we don't know what's happened. The match ref, that game's still going, so the match ref hasn't brought down their judgment on it, but it might be a little slap on the wrist.
Relief isn't usually the emotion I has coursing through my veins at the end of Willow Talk, but it certainly is today after the performance review, Sam, and good to hear from Fergus O'Neill as well.
Well done again, Adam.
Thanks, Sam. That was Willow Talk for this episode. As mentioned, later in the week, that we have heels and Hadds on together ahead of the Willow Talk Cup. Have a great week, everyone. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.